You don't cry in front of people, not because you don't feel deeply, but because something in you refuses to be seen like that. So you wait until the room is quiet, until no one is watching, and only then you let it out. But here's the question that lingers. Why does your pain feel safer in isolation than in connection? Problem. Deep dive. You've trained yourself to hold it together, even when your chest feels tight, even when your thoughts start looping. You nod, you smile, you say, "I'm fine," and most people believe you, because on the outside, you look composed, but inside, something is building pressure, like a sealed container with no release valve. So what happens? You wait until you're alone, and then it comes out, not gently, but all at once. Tears you didn't plan, emotions you didn't fully understand. And afterward, there's often a strange mix of relief and shame. Relief because you finally let it out. Shame because you had to hide it. This pattern slowly shapes your identity. You become the strong one, the calm one, the one who doesn't break. But it comes with a cost. You start feeling emotionally disconnected from others, even when you're surrounded by people. Because the real version of you, the one that struggles, cracks, and feels overwhelmed, that version stays hidden. And over time, a quiet belief forms. If people saw the real depth of what I feel, they might not understand it. Or worse, they might not stay. But this isn't random. This pattern has a psychological root. You're not emotionally weak, and you're not too sensitive. In fact, the opposite might be true. What you're doing is emotional regulation, just not in the way people usually talk about it. Your brain learned early on that emotional exposure comes with risk, so it adapted. It didn't stop the emotion. It just delayed the expression. Private crying isn't a flaw. It's a strategy, a way your mind protects you from potential judgment, rejection, or discomfort. Think of it like this. You didn't suppress your emotions. You scheduled them. But the real question is, what taught your brain that your emotions are safer when hidden? Psychological mechanism. At the core of this behavior is something called emotional inhibition. It's when your brain filters emotional expression based on perceived social safety. Here's how it works. Your brain constantly scans for threat, not just physical threat, but social threat. Rejection, embarrassment, misunderstanding. The part of your brain involved here is the amygdala. It acts like a smoke detector. If it senses that showing emotion might lead to discomfort, it sends a signal. Not here, not now. Then your prefrontal cortex steps in. The rational, decision-making part. It helps you override the emotional impulse. So instead of crying, you hold it. You regulate. You delay. Here's the metaphor. Your emotions are like waves, and your brain becomes a dam. During the day, you hold everything back. But at night, when the environment feels safe, the dam opens, and everything flows at once. There's also a second layer. Attachment conditioning. If you grew up in an environment where emotions were dismissed, ignored, or uncomfortable for others, your brain learned a rule: feel deeply, but alone. So now, even as an adult, your nervous system associates vulnerability with risk instead of connection. This is why crying in private feels natural, and crying in front of others feels almost impossible. But here's the hidden cost. When you only process emotions alone, you miss out on co-regulation. That's when another person's presence helps calm your nervous system. Without it, Your emotional world becomes self-contained and slightly heavier than it needs to be. So the question becomes, how do you keep your depth without isolating your emotions? Practical framework. Step 1. Name the emotion before it peaks. What to do: pause during the day and label what you're feeling, even if it's subtle. Why it works: this activates the prefrontal cortex, which reduces amygdala intensity. In simple terms, naming emotions makes them less overwhelming. Example: instead of waiting until night to cry, you notice, I feel a bit overwhelmed right now. This prevents emotional buildup. Step 2. Lower the all or nothing. Expression pattern. What to do: allow small expressions of emotion in safe moments, not full vulnerability, just fragments. Why it works: your brain learns that emotional expression doesn't have to be extreme to be valid. It rewires the idea that it's either fully hidden or fully released. Example: saying to someone, today was heavier than usual, instead of saying nothing and breaking down later. Step 3. Test safe. People, not all people. What to do: choose one emotionally safe person and slowly share small pieces. Why it works: this builds corrective emotional experiences. Your brain updates its belief about vulnerability. Not everyone is unsafe. Your brain just hasn't seen enough evidence yet. Example: sharing a small struggle with a trusted friend and noticing they don't judge you. This weakens the fear loop. Step 4. Shift from suppression to containment. What to do: instead of pushing emotions away, mentally, hold them with awareness. Why it works: suppression increases emotional intensity over time. Containment allows processing without overwhelm. Example: during the day, instead of ignoring feelings, you internally say, I feel this, I'll come back to it. This reduces pressure buildup. Step 5. Create a transition ritual. What to do: give yourself a consistent time and space to process emotions intentionally. Why it works: your brain feels safer when emotional release is predictable, not chaotic. It reduces the sudden emotional overflow. Example: sitting quietly for 10 minutes in the evening, reflecting before emotions explode. This turns reaction into regulation. All of this comes down to one simple model: from isolation, gradual expression. Right now, your emotional system works like a closed loop. Feel fee, hold D, release alone. What you're building instead is a bridge. Feel D. Acknowledge you. Express in small ways. Ni. Express in small ways. D. Share selectively. Not everything needs to be exposed, but not everything needs to be hidden either. Your goal isn't to cry in front of everyone. Your goal is to stop carrying everything alone. There's nothing wrong with crying in private. It means you feel deeply. It means you haven't gone numb. But you don't have to protect your emotions from the entire world. Some parts of you deserve to be seen, even if only a little at a time. Because strength isn't just holding everything in. Sometimes it's letting someone witness what you've been carrying quietly all along, and realizing it was never as unsafe as your mind believed.